So we all know who the worst generation is, but among this group of wild upstarts are 6 pirates in particular who have rose to the top of the One Piece world in unprecedented and rapid fashion. These 6 men will be the focus of this video, as their reputations have become so notorious so fast that talking about them in the same vein as their other worst generation contemporaries is almost an insult. Who are the 6 infamous men who stand on top of the worst generation? Let's get right into it. Every captain who sets out to sea needs a right-hand man like Zoro and Killer. These two are the very definition of the word clutch. They would happily kill and die for their idiotic captains who couldn't stay away from trouble if trouble was a freshly divorced woman that just recently filed for a restraining order against her ex-husband. Luffy and Zoro's dynamic is well documented. Zoro is someone who has put his life on the line multiple times over for Luffy's sake, and on the contrary, Zoro has also redirected Luffy back on course whenever he should stray. As captain, Luffy can't afford to waver. If he does, he's got one hell of a right-hand man to right the ship. Kid and Killer's relationship goes much deeper, with these two being best friends going all the way back to their childhood. They have a dynamic much similar to that of Luffy and Zoro, which is why it works so well. In terms of power, Zoro and Killer respectively are both extremely lethal with the blade arts, and even though they were both nerfed and lacking signature weapons at the time, the brief encounter these guys had in the second act of the Wano arc goes to show that the first commanders of 88-1 and 88-2 are perhaps closer in strength than people think. Let's not sleep on Killer, okay? We all know how hyped Zoro's feats against Kaido were. The guy left a permanent scar on an Emperor of the Sea. That is damn impressive, but Killer, ooh-wee, my man turned Kaido's insides into shish kebab with his Punisher blades. I'm just saying, respect Killer, but in regards to one Roronoa Zoro, between the damage he did to Kaido and defeating King the Wildfire, Zoro is him. Zoro is called the King of Hell for a damn good reason. Luffy, Kid, and Law. Where does one even begin with this trio? It's really amazing how far these guys have come since the Sabaody archipelago. The 3 of them have wreaked havoc all throughout the New World, each one growing notorious in his own way, and that has led them to standing atop of this new tumultuous era after soundly vanquishing 2 Emperors of the Sea, a feat that is still pretty crazy to say out loud, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think what makes this trio work the way that it does is that even if what we see on screen does not entirely match how they are portrayed in the actual One Piece world, Kid and Law are constantly presented in the same light as Luffy, and obviously that's not me saying that they're equals by any means, but Luffy isn't exactly several tiers above his cohorts in this case. Now, if we have to rank these 3 as far as overall strength goes, Luffy clearly is number 1, there's no doubt about that. Right behind Luffy is Kid, and I know, just hear me out. Eustace Kid, for starters, is disgustingly tanky. We seen Kid take a full force punch from Big Mom and he ate that shit. Kid was the one taking the bulk of the damage in his and Law's fight against Big Mom because he was incapacitated thanks to Basil Hawkins' power. His punk riding technique is also the perfect defense. Since it's all scrapped anyway, the metal is able to absorb damage and reconstruct when necessary. But beyond his defense, Kid's physical strength is very much slept on. How many people can say that they suplexed a massive dragon, an Emperor of the Sea, Kaido specifically, into oblivion? That's crazy. And this isn't even to highlight how useful his Devil Fruit power is. And of course, he, much like Luffy, bears the color of the Supreme King as well. That's something I'm sure we will see out of him in the very near future. So yes, Eustace Kid is absolutely second place out of the dumbass trio, with Law right behind him. Truthfully, none of this even really matters in the first place because the rivalry that these 3 captains have isn't even really much of a rivalry to begin with. They are just 3 incredibly prideful dumbass captains who are taking every possible opportunity to usurp the other. Luffy, Kid, and Law are the faces of the new generation. They will one day be spoken in a similar fashion to Gold Roger and Whitebeard. They will be revered legends of the sea in no time at all. I mean, they have already made pirating history and they are only in their 20s. If these three captains were to meet their demise tomorrow, their legacies are pretty much set in stone already. I think it is safe to say there is no character in One Piece who better personifies the word pirate than Emperor of the Sea, Marshall D. Teach, Blackbeard. Of the entire worst generation, Teach is the one who has rose to prominence the fastest, acquiring Whitebeard's vacated position in the Emperor class during the 2-year time skip. We are at a time in the story where Blackbeard is moving and his moves are huge. The man is going after devil fruits, poneglyphs, and may be in the midst of battle with Vice Admiral Garp as we speak. It's pretty clear that Teach has his eyes set on the throne which only the king of the world can occupy. The scariest part about Teach is we have no idea just how much stronger this guy has gotten over the last 2 years. We've bore witness to the unparalleled and otherworldly strength of Kaido and Big Mom, so just how will Teach compare to those two monsters? Time will only tell, but Blackbeard will certainly not disappoint. Over the course of these 1,000 odd chapters, Teach has been an eerie force lurking in the background as our heroes fought against all odds. Teach has already done battle once with a fellow Worst Generation peer in Trafalgar Law. The point in time where Luffy and Blackbeard meet again and inevitably clash is near. This is a battle between the two men who are arguably the closest to becoming king of the pirates. That's going to be a war that will split the seas itself, and I don't think any of us are exactly prepared for how that's going to go down. The Worst Generation is the perfect narrative device for a series like One Piece. Instead of there being one person slowly moving throughout the ranks of the pirating world, you have a group, you have multiple men, multiple pirates who are aiming to reach the top at the same time, and as a result, there are multiple events, multiple happenings in the story that are tied to their name. It keeps the story fresh, it helps make the One Piece world feel even more alive than it already does, because despite us actively following the journey of Luffy and his friends for the most part, there are situations where we're finding out that X character did this or Y character did that. It isn't just Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates causing trouble in the One Piece world. There are multiple factions at play, multiple pirate groups who are also causing their fair share of havoc as well. For a concept that did not even exist in Oda's mind until the Sabaody Archipelago arc, the Worst Generation have had a profound effect in the One Piece story, and it is very safe to assume that by the time it's all wrapped up, by the time this epic of a story concludes, what the Worst Generation would have accomplished at the end of One Piece will make what they've done so far look minute in comparison. But that is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do, man. Before you even click off, smash the like button for me. If you are new around here, if this is your first time watching a video of mine, welcome to the kingdom. But make sure you subscribe, because when you subscribe, you are helping me help you. When you subscribe, you are guaranteed some of the best One Piece content on the market, and that's not just me saying that. That, my friend, is a fact of life. You good people, be easy, and I'll catch you later. Stay gold.